4 or 5 years ago, I started creating content and focusing on my brand and building my brand on social media. I wasn't making any money from it. I was spending a lot of time and not making any money from it. And this is the biggest reason why I didn't. That is because I didn't think it was possible. I didn't know you could. I had no idea that that was completely a possibility. And on top of that, when I thought maybe it could be possible, I literally had no idea how to do this. So the number one thing holding me back, and the number one thing that's probably holding you back, is your lack of knowledge and understanding and thinking it's possible for you, and also other people's opinions about that it's not possible or not impacting what you think is possible for yourself. I was letting other people's opinions control my thoughts about the space and what was possible for me. But once I shifted my mindset and realized this is possible, this is something I could do, it completely changed it. And then I was able to have my first month of making $10,000 working with brands as a creator, all from my phone, literally from anywhere I wanted. I didn't have to live in New York City anymore in order to make that kind of money. And that was more than I was making in my full-time job anyway. So I put in all my effort as a creator, all my effort into running this business. And in my first full-time year, I was able to make over $100,000 in that 1 year. I know you're watching this video because you want this and you know it might be possible because you do want it. But I know that you are holding yourself back because you don't think that this is actually possible for you. But it is. And guess what? I've been in this for so many years now that it's even easier to do this now. It is so much easier because, I mean, I'm here helping you. There wasn't someone like me helping me at the time. Like, you just kind of are really figuring out. So that's what I'm here to help you do that, because I know it's possible and I don't want you to have to take ages long to be able to do it like I have. It's just so much easier now. There are so many different platforms that you can join as a creator to be able to work with brands, that you can apply to campaigns and apply to work with them on. So it's just a lot easier than it used to be. The tools, the resources, it's all there. And the creator economy is now a $100 billion industry. Businesses and brands are all trying to get their products and services in front of their ideal customers. And the main way people are doing that, and the main way they're doing that, is by utilizing creators. So putting people who are really good at putting information and showcasing products in front of people right in front of their target customers. And so the industry just keeps growing and growing. The coolest part about being a creator and doing this is that you also get to say how it's done. You're not just like following an outline, like you get to say as a creator on what that looks like and what you're creating. The bigger the industry grows, it just proves it more and more. And so we need your unique perspective as a creator. If you are thinking that there are too many people in the industry now and that it's saturated, that is just a scarcity mindset. Again, this goes back to your mindset. If you think there's not enough, then yes, you're going to experience, but it's just proving again and again that so many people can do it. And so because this is based on your individual brand, like nobody can replicate that but you. So you have a unique perspective, and that's exactly what brands and businesses want to tap into, is your unique perspective in creating and working with them. So I just want you to take a second and imagine what would be possible for you if you were able to work with brands, or if you were able to increase the amount of brands that you're working with. Imagine your ability to be able to quit your job that you're hating, or be able to work from anywhere, or be able to be on your own schedule, or just be able to make a living doing something creative that you enjoy more. This allows you to be able to travel more, or to be able to spend more time with your loved ones. Just think about, like, what would your life look like being able to do this? I want to take a second because that's the biggest thing that holds you back, is that mindset. So that's like the first thing you have to do. Like, I can give you all the tips and tricks, but if your mindset is not there, you're not going to implement it. I can tell you exactly what to do in order to make these $10,000 months as a creator, working on your own terms. But if you are stuck in the mindset part, you won't actually take action. So that's why I had to start that with this. And like, that's where you got to think about, imagine yourself with this, because it is 100% possible. You know, I didn't like study this in college. Like, this wasn't like a major you could have. If anyone can do it, you can do it. But let's dive into all the ways that you can work with brands to be able to make those $10,000 a month. You don't need to have hundreds of thousands of followers. You don't even need to have like thousands of followers. So let's talk about all the ways that you can work with brands as a creator up next. We're going to cover 6 different ways that you can work with brands and have collaborations with brands as a creator. So the first way is kind of the known way that most people know it as, which is sponsored posts, stories, videos. So this is you posting directly to your audience. This audience could be 500 to 1,000 people. Like, it doesn't have to be that many people. There is value in every single tier of influencer, micro influencer, nano influencer, macro. There is value to each one, and brands are up on it. That's why I say this is a really great time to join, because it doesn't matter how many followers you have. You can be an influencer or a creator and work with them in this way, no matter how many followers you have. So you just want to dial down on your audience. This is the brand deal. These are the brand deal or the partnerships. Every time you scroll on your phone and you see a post from your favorite creator or influencer, it says paid partnership. That's what this is. The goal with sponsored posts and paid partnerships is to grow relationships with brands and actually do long-term sponsored posts. So more than one time. The goal is to make this not just a one-off post, but something you do repeatedly and repeatedly work with this brand. And these are all about reaching your specific audience and tapping into your personal brand. So those are 2 really key things to focus on if you want to have more sponsored posts, is really focus on your audience and really focus on your personal brand. So the next way that you can work with brands is through UGC and content creation, or user generated content. So these are videos or photos, and you don't have to post these on your social media. So it literally doesn't matter at all what your social media looks like. All that you need is a portfolio. So all you need, at least 6 videos to show brands. And so I would get started with this by basically picking 6 different products that you have of brands that you love and making 10 to 30-second videos about them, showcasing the products, and put those on a page, and that's your portfolio. And that's what you can use to land brand deals. I do suggest post these on your TikTok, because why not? Why not put it out there? It does make it a little easier on some of those brand collaboration platforms to apply for content creation work where you don't post on your socials. It's easier just to send them like a TikTok link. If you don't have to like put your own website together. You can also put these videos in a Canva template. So there's a lot of ways to do this, but all you need is just like a few example videos, because you need to show them like what you can do. So with this, it's a little bit about your brand and a little bit about their products. So you definitely need to tie into more of like what their vibe is, what their aesthetic is, like what their brand is, and a little bit more of like showing off the product. It's a lot less about you and more about the brand. Third way you can work with brands is through affiliate. So you can do this through different platforms. There are major platforms like ShopStyle and RewardStyle, where you can have affiliate links and earn a commission by sharing your favorite product from a brand that's also on the platform, and you earn a commission from it. The one thing with affiliate is you do need to have like the ability to reach people for them to buy. So you would need to use a blog, or you need to use Pinterest or TikTok or Instagram, somewhere that you're putting these links that people then can buy them, but you would earn a commission. So, a lot of brands also have their own affiliate programs that you can just apply for on their website and join to be able to, whenever you sell the product, you get a little bit of commission. So a lot of brands have affiliate programs now that they do internally that you can join as well. Like, you don't have to be an influencer or anything. You already have a lot of influence with your friends. So your friends on TikTok or Instagram, friends, they trust what your recommendation. So you can just put a link up of your favorite thing. Your friends will buy it too, because, every time you go to like lunch with your friends, they ask, oh, where did you buy this? Like, you trust your friend's opinion. So the next way is content licensing and usage rights. So this is basically where you license and give the ability to the brand to be able to use your photos or videos and post them on their social media or website, and they pay you for this. So one way that you can do this is you already have created photos or videos with the brand's product, and you offer them the ability to license this and use this, and they pay you for that. Or the other approach is they might come to you and say, hey, we want to use the photo they're trying to get it for free, but you can say, okay, it'll be $50, $100, $200, however much you want to charge, however much their budget is. Use this. Another great way to do this is with tourism boards. So you take a picture in that country or in that state. I do this in the US. I've worked with different tourism boards licensing my images for states, so they'll pay you for the rights to be able to use that image in their own marketing. So a fifth way that you can work with brands is event attendance. So influencers do charge for this a lot of times, but this is also a great way to get your foot in the door if you're just starting out. This is location dependent. Some cities cities just have more events with brands than others. This is a great way, if you can attend a brand event, to get to know people who are on the marketing and social media team for a brand and build relationships with them. As a creator and an influencer, you'll get invited to these types of events with brands, and you can also charge fees for these. The last way we're going to cover today that you can work with brands is through press or brand trips. This is the whole getting paid to travel as a creator thing. Press trips are going to be with tourism boards. Some might be for hotel openings or launches, and some might be for product launches for brand trips. So just depending on what companies you usually work with, what your content is based on. An example is I went to Mexico with the Herbal Essences team to go over a new campaign launch for a new product they were doing. So brands will also do sponsored trips and press trips for different products or brands to like increase the hype about the product that's launching. This has been actually going on for many, many years. Brands have worked with basically writers, editors of magazines, and PR to do these brand trips, and then the last 3 to 5 years, they've now included influencers and creators as part of these brand trips. So they'll bring on people who can take photos and videos, so more just creative side, and then also influencers. So they might have a week for the press team to come for a week, and basically all the editors, people with different publishers come, and then another week where it's influencers and creators coming. Sometimes they lump it all together, so it'll just depend. Now let's talk about what you need to be charging brands for when you work with them. One thing you need to be charging brands for is exclusivity. So if they say in a contract that they don't want you to work with any of their competitors for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months, however long it is, you need to be charging for that time. So if you're working with a hair care brand and they say you can't work with other hair care brands for 2 months, you need to charge them for that exclusivity. A lot of times when I bring this up to brands, some of them pay it, or they reduce the time that we're going to be exclusive, or they just remove it from the contract at all. But basically, if you're charging your brand $1,000 for this campaign and they don't want you to work with anyone else for another month, you really should charge them an extra $1,000, because that's $1,000 you're missing out on working with another hair care brand that next month. So it is really important that you're charging for them, because that's potential revenue lost for you to not be able to work with other brands. Make sure you charge for exclusivity and based on the timeline that you would have that exclusivity for. Another thing you should charge for is whitelisting and blacklisting. So this is basically where they take your content or your post and they put ads behind it and promote it on social media. So they could run it as basically you made a video for them and they run it as an ad. And there are 2 different ways they do this. They can do this under your name and handle. So it would look like it's a post from me, but it's actually they're running the ad. So they're paying to have like a boosted ad, or they're taking the content and featuring you and it's running under their handle. So either way, but you also want to charge for this and also the time that it will be promoted. We already talked about this as another way to work with them, but usage rights and licensing, you want to make sure to charge for that. So the time frame, if they say we want to be able to repost this content in our social medias, you should have a fee for that. And for the timeline, so 6 months or a year, you can use this on their social media or website. Some other things to think about with your rate, what you should be charging for. What is like your base rate? What is your base rate for something? What does it like cost you to take this content? Okay, so think of that base rate, and then you have your exposure costs. So posting on your platforms, how many people are you reaching? So what is the exposure cost? Overall, influencer costs and creator costs and reaching audience through creators and influencers is way cheaper than traditional advertising. So everyone is getting a deal here. It is such a, like the opportunity cost and the actual cost of advertising through influencers and creators is so cheap compared to traditional advertising, billboards, etc. How you determine kind of that exposure cost. Standard rate for the industry in the US is about $100 per 10,000 followers. That's kind of like the standard rate. It goes up and down. At the end of the day, it's all a negotiation and what you negotiate, okay? So that's just kind of like a benchmark to go off of. If you are creating content that you don't post, there's also a brand association cost. So if you do have followers, maybe you have 10,000 followers, if you make a video or take a picture with a brand's product, someone seeing a post with you with that product is different than just a regular hired model or someone who doesn't have any audience or following. If you have 100,000 followers, when someone sees you with that product, there's a brand association. You already have a following, and so there's an extra cost for that. Like, you aren't just nobody. You don't just, no one, you know, people know who you are. In the grand scheme, it's still small, but it's also still a lot of people. Like, imagine 100,000 people in a room with you. Like, that's That's not a room. That's a stadium, okay? That's like a football stadium. Bigger than like most football stadiums, at least college football stadiums. So like, that's a lot of people. So there's a brand association costs that go with it. So 100,000 followers or 50,000 followers, 10,000 followers, that's going to be different association costs. So that's something you also need to charge for. It shouldn't just be, yes, they can get from someone who doesn't have any following a video for $200, but you need to make sure to charge a little bit more if you have some followers because there's that brand association there. But this is something else to charge for, which is attendance fees. So when you're just getting started out, like again, this kind of goes under the brand association cost. So this is where like if you have more followers, your attendance fee could be larger, but this is, I mean, this is time. When you attend something, this is time out of your day. Generally, unless it's literally down the street from you and it's only an hour, like it could be half of your day. Charge for either the attendance or you can charge to post something about attending the event. Another thing to charge for, and I think people overlook this, is a rush fee. And brands do this. They have a last minute campaign. If they expect you to turn around content in a day, they need to be paying you more because you have to drop everything in order to do that. You might have other jobs. Like rush fees are very normal in the advertising and media world. So this is something you should include too. If it's like within a 2-week turnaround, you should also probably have a rush fee or increased fee for that because that's a pretty tight timeline. In general, if they're giving you any sort of timeline, you need to be paid. And the last thing to charge for is that they want to have a link in your bio because that's prime real estate for people. If you have a link list in your bio, you can charge more for it to be at the top of the list and for an X amount of time. So now that we've gone over the different ways that you can work with brands and what you need to charge for, now we can talk about how do you get to those $10,000 a month working with them. It's pretty easy to boil this down. You need 10 $1,000 deals, or you need 20 $500 deals, 5 $2,000 deals. There's just different ways to look at it, and like you can totally get there. And you might not have any sort of following, you're doing content creation, but you could create 10 videos for a brand. You have no followers at all, 10 videos for a brand for $100 each, $1,000. Then you would need 10 different brands to do that for. It's totally possible for you to do. And that's how I got started. Is my first $10,000 in 1 month from brand collaborations was by having bigger partnerships than having more. It was like a volume thing as far as like I didn't just have one partnership because this was, I didn't even have 100,000 followers. Instead, I tacked on things that I could offer the brand instead of just one thing. So I charged for a post, I charged for multiple content for them that I didn't post. So I did sponsor posts and UGC content for them, and then usage rights, things on to create like a package cost. My first $10,000 month is because I just increased the cost of the partnership by adding more deliverables. The second way I was able to increase the cost was I figured out what their budget was. So I thought, how can I meet their budget? Kind of overshooting what you think their budget might be, because if you basically say, okay, this package is going to be $3,000, then they're like, okay, we really want to work with you, but we can only do $1,500. So now you figured out, okay, their max budget that they can do with me is $1,500. So let's figure out what I can do to meet that $1,500. So you always kind of want to shoot a little higher than what like you actually want. So if you just want to make $500 working with this brand, probably offer them $700 to like figure out, you know, because that's just the art of negotiation, and you're going to negotiate, and every single brand deal is negotiated. Like there is no like one size fits all. So it's all about negotiating. So you definitely kind of want to like set yourself up to like hit your goal. If you want some more help with this, I do have templates available for you. If you're like, how do I even reach out to these brands? How do I even find these platforms? I have all of the collaboration platforms that you can work on available. I'll link it in the description below. My email templates for pitching brands, my collaboration platform vault for all different platforms to be on to get collaborations, get UGC clients, all of that. Media kit template, that's something else you need. So I have that all collaboration kit. So I'll include the link to that in the description of this video so that you have everything you need and you can be working with brands. So if you have any questions, please comment them below. Let me know what you think. And if you have any friends who are creating content and they're not making money yet, please send them this video. So give this a like, give this a thumbs up, and make sure you're subscribed because I'm gonna have more videos all about this, helping you be able to work from anywhere and all of the creator tips. Again, and if you're not following me on Instagram or TikTok, make sure you're following me over there too. So I will see you guys next time in the next video.